Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everyone to another podcast. This podcast is actually, I guess, a further information addition to a podcast we did last week on destiny. We got a lot of comments. And so one of them particularly stood out. We do try to respond to comments here and there, but I want to read this actual scenario because we will make today's podcast as a response to this particular scenario because it's a critical point that needs to be made. Now, the scenario is, suppose there is a person named Ahmed. When he was born, Allah already knew the exact time of his death. Let's assume Allah decreed that Ahmed would live for 16 years. When Ahmed turns 15, he prays to Allah for good health and a long life. Now, can this prayer change his taqdeer? If his prayer extends his life beyond 16 years, that would mean Allah's original decree was incorrect, which is impossible because Allah is never wrong. However, if Allah already knew at Ahmed's birth that he would pray at 15 and be granted a longer life, then his extended lifespan was already part of his destiny. In that case, nothing actually changed. Ahmed was always going to pray, and Allah had already written the outcome accordingly. For a prayer to truly change destiny, it would mean that Allah did not know what would happen in the future, which contradicts the fundamental belief that Allah is all-knowing. Since Allah's knowledge is absolute, what happens tomorrow is already known to Him, and we cannot alter what is already written. Okay. So this is in response to our discussion last week. So what are your thoughts on this scenario?
Very interesting comment. Of course, there are some logic in there, some logical explanations in there, but in a nutshell, it is the Jabriya view. It is not the Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat view, the mainstream view.
Right.
Why is it the Jabriya view? Because Jabriya is a compulsionist school who believe that human beings are like leaves flying in the wind. You know, wherever the wind blows, we will go that direction. So it is compulsionism. Destiny is enforced upon us.
We have no free will in that with Jabriya.
Yes, in a way, it completely, negates free will, human free will.
You're compelled to do what's in your qadar in a way, isn't it right?
Because the term he used there was taqdeer.
Yes.
Taqdeer is decree, as you know, in Islamic theology. But in Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat view, qadar is not decreed. Qadar is known. They are two different things. The term qadar indicates to Allah's all-known, attribute. So He knows what will happen. We say, I'm just using that as an expression. Therefore, it is recorded in Lawh al-Mahfuz. His knowledge is recorded in Lawh al-Mahfuz. So within that comment, there's one correct thing, which is Lawh al-Mahfuz does not change. Whatever is written in Lawh al-Mahfuz, because the name is there, Lawh al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet.
Yes.
Now, in regards to decree, we call that qaza. What is written, when it becomes materialized by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it's created, it's called decreed. So qadar and qaza are two different things.
Yes.
And there are two terminologies in the Quran, which is Imam Mubin and Kitab Mubin. It sort of corresponds to these two things, concepts, because Imam Mubin is the infinite knowledge of Allah, and Kitab Mubin is the decree. When the time comes, the materialization, the creation of that knowledge. So in regards to the scenario, I forgot to mention this comment, I read it as well. Yes. It was by an account called Tales of Rumi.
Right.
And there were a few people who gave the thumbs up, but it can be misleading because it is the Jabriya view. Why? I will explain. When you say, if Allah, decreed that Ahmed would live till 16, and at 15 he makes dua, he makes various things, and then his life is extended, prolonged.
Right.
That is like an assumption that we can see into the Lawh al-Mahfuz.
Yes.
That is not possible because even Jibril, even the angels do not know what is in Lawh al-Mahfuz, what is in Allah's knowledge. Because we don't know, we always strive towards to do our best to prolong our lives, to do more worship. This is our duty because we don't know the tomorrow. We don't know the next day. This befalls upon us. That is why in the previous program I said, past is qadar, and future is irada, because we don't know.
We don't know.
We should sort of realize that
Yeah.
reality,
Yeah.
and we should not go into the Jabriya view. Another thing in regards to that, when this comment challenged maybe our views, we can be wrong to be human beings, but I mentioned that as well. I worked on Qadar for 7 years for my thesis.
Yes, you did your PhD on the topic.
I read many, many books, classical books, formative books, philosophical books, many things on this. But I'm not saying I'm always 100% wrong, right, because we are human beings. However, in regards to this topic, I'm pretty well versed, I think.
Absolutely.
And when you make a deterministic or a comment on Jabriya, it's can be misleading for other Muslims, so other believers. That is why I wanted to correct this particular thing here, because the comment is not challenging our view. Because in the previous program, I specifically underlined, I said, the knowledge of Allah cannot be altered, cannot be changed. You might remember that, yeah?
Yeah.
So what is it challenging? It is actually challenging the prophetic hadith, which actually mentioned in Tirmidhi. It's a Hasan hadith, which means beautiful hadith, reliable hadith,
Reliable.
where the noble Prophet ﷺ says, taqwa prolongs life. It's very clear. Taqwa prolongs life. But what does that mean? It doesn't mean it changes what is written in Lawh al-Mahfuz. It means that if you live a life of taqwa, let us say, for example, you live till 90, it means Lawh al-Mahfuz has recorded that already. This person will live a life of taqwa, and he will or she will reach the age of 90. So that's where the problem is. So giving scenarios like if Ahmed was to die at 16, we don't know this when Ahmed was to die. The reason I said you cannot call it deterministic, or you cannot say it's decreed, then it would put you into a paradoxical situation about Allah, where, for example, what if Ahmed took his own life? What if Ahmed climbed on top of a building and jumped? Can you say Allah decreed that Ahmed will kill himself? Illogical. Allah does not, intervene in your decisions, in your irada, that he does not nullify your free will. So it is paradoxical. It's unacceptable in, Islamic theology.
Yeah.
Another important thing here is the last comment that he made. That is why I, try to explain this as best as I can, because it's a very complex topic. Qadar. Not everyone can understand it. In Bediüzzaman's Risale-i-Nur, he has a part about Qadar, a Risale of Qadar. He specifically says not everyone can understand this part. He says, you have to be at certain level. Scholarship. You have to have certain scholarship to understand this. So in regards to the example he gives, Allah knows what will happen tomorrow. Therefore, tomorrow, whatever is going to occur, that cannot be changed, he says. Cannot be changed. So Allah's knowledge cannot be changed. It's correct. But the problem here is this. When you mention tomorrow, again, that goes against what we understand about Allah's attributes. There is no such a thing as tomorrow for Allah.
Yes.
See, otherwise it will, bring other complexities, theological, philosophical complexities, because sometimes people don't look at the whole thing, all of the attributes. Because when you say Allah's knowledge is infinite, whatever he knows cannot be changed. But what about his omnipotence? He is all powerful and he's got a will. So if you say Allah knows what's going to happen tomorrow, that cannot be changed because it's his knowledge. Well, if Allah cannot change what's going to happen tomorrow, what happens to his qudra? It gets nullified.
That means
his will cannot change either. That's what it means. Yeah. Even if he wanted to change it, he can't change it. That is ridiculous from an Islamic theological perspective. That is why I bring a solution to this. Very easy solution. Allah is timeless. Allah is not bound by space-time. Therefore, there is no such a thing as tomorrow for Allah.
And you mentioned that.
Yes, tomorrow has already occurred for Allah, or it occurs simultaneously. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, he sees it all. So then there is no need to change in his kudra. There's no need to change in his will or his knowledge because he already knows, because he's the one who's creating it. He
Yeah.
created tomorrow from Allah's perspective. This is what people don't understand. We are the ones who are trapped in space-time, not Allah. That is why for us, tomorrow is tomorrow, not for Allah.
And we're projecting because we're stuck with it. We just can't seem to, find this thing of being able to get out of it. But just going back to that question, I guess there seems to be layers. Like the Lawh Mahfuz is absolute. And even that, as you said, if Allah wills, he can change anything he wants, whenever he wants. Nothing is binding for Allah.
Yeah, because Lawh Mahfuz is already occurred from Allah's perspective. That's why it's written there. But like you said, there are layers. Some scholars explain two concepts there. One is called Lawh Mahfuz, which is unchangeable because it's knowledge of Allah. The other
he knows
one,
everything, or
he knows everything. Timelessness.
Timelessness.
But the other one is the Lawh Mahfuz Ispat. That is probabilities, the realm of probabilities. That's from the human perspective. Maybe one very simple example for the viewers, If I stand in front of two doors, there's a green door and a red door. I have the choice to open any one I like.
Yes.
Until I open and walk through that one of the doors, it's all possibilities.
That's right.
It's all up to my choice. We call that Lawh Mahfuz Ispat. So it can say he's possibly going to walk through the green door, for example. Okay, it can say Lawh Mahfuz Ispat. However, until I open that door and walk through it, it is not my qadar yet. But no matter which door I select, it does not matter whether I open the green door or the red door. That will be written in Lawh Mahfuz because Allah knows.
Yeah.
Allah already knows which door I selected. Yeah. So the past becomes qadar, unchangeable.
Because for us it's happened,
Yes, but the future is full of possibilities. If we negate these things, then there is no testing on earth for us.
That's right. No free will.
Yeah, like for example,
we'll be like robots in a way.
Robots, yeah. Like we explained in the last program as well. If Allah decreed that Abu Jahl would die as a kafir, then Abu Jahl has no fault of dying as a kafir. On the day of judgment, we would say, you decreed me to die as a kafir. Why am I going to Jahannam? It wasn't my fault. That is why we said qadar registers everything with causality, cause and effect. So it says Abu Jahl will choose to be a kafir using his own free will. Therefore, he will die as a kafir. So the blame is on Abu Jahl, not on qadar. That's where the problematic issue is. Yes.
Okay, so I want to sum this up because I think there's been very important points made. One of them is Allah's knowledge is all encompassing. So he knows everything. The other thing is he's beyond time and space. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we struggle with this.
Yes.
And reconciling not Allah's knowledge with our decision making. Is there any other key points as we summarize this?
Maybe you can just finish it with this statement. We intend the action, Allah creates the action. So we have the intention, Allah creates the action. We should understand this. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you for listening. Put in the comments your thoughts as well, and see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.